Hey guys, Zach here. I know it's called football. Arsenal dropping points for only the second time this season in what felt like a really, really horrible end to the game and a result overall. Drawing 1-1 against Southampton today. So much that really just a lot of controversy, especially around the referee decisions, which I will get into. But I do want to state first that, Arsenal obviously had their chances to go 2-0 up, maybe 3-0 with the chances from Odegaard and Gabriel Jesus. They didn't take them on a day usually where those two players seem to be more clinical on the ball and with their finishing, especially with Jesus, who seems to be a little bit off it, probably tired and worn. I mean, he's started so many games this season and really has been a warrior the way he's been beaten up and fouled throughout the whole season and not even halfway through the season yet. So it is a little bit concerning, but obviously, fantastic player, fantastic goal scorer overall, and obviously makes this team so much better with his work rate. So I'm not going at any player at all, but we did have our chances to win the game despite the just blatantly horrendous officiating from the referee today. I mean, honestly, the worst officiating I've seen in a long, long time, and maybe the worst I've ever seen for an Arsenal game. That is, I mean, the decision to book Saka and from a referee standpoint, I think you're trying to set the tone for players and be assertive and let them know you're not going to stand for any nonsense. And but Saka was fouled. I mean, he was fouled by one player, and there's another one there. He's pushed into the other player essentially, and regardless of whether or not he went down a little easy, he was fouled, and you see that all the time given as a foul. The fact that it's right on the edge of the box, I don't know if the referee's thinking, Saka is trying to fool him or con him or trick him into a penalty or a free kick, right on that spot. But it was just from that point you thought, how can you give him a yellow card for that? Even before the review and the replay, excuse me, I knew it was a foul because you could see the contact, and it's very obvious sometimes when players dive, they'll curl their legs up behind them, they'll scream automatically, like the worst pain, and it just didn't see any of that, and it was clearly a foul. And from then I started to get worried. We scored the goal, great goal again from Granit Xhaka, just finding himself in all the right places recently. Another goal with his right foot actually, and a fantastic hit as well into the top of the net really. And I thought from then we'd be gliding. It seemed like Southampton changed their formation a little bit, went to a back three, and I have to say this Lycano guy. Apparently he's Brazilian, but he should have been an extra for Leonidas in 300. Like, this guy was a brute, and fouling left and right. The elbow hacks on Jesus. He did it twice. The referee's standing right there. VAR didn't even look at it. He's not booked until the 90th minute for attempting to headbutt Nketiah and also grabbing him by the throat. And 4 or 5 fouls in between those two incidents, the first one and the last one. He saw one yellow card. I mean, I don't know what the referee and the VAR were doing today, but it just seemed like he told the players, the Southampton players, do whatever you want, and I'm not going to book you for anything, because the pulling back on Jesus twice, the contact at the start where they're both fighting for the ball. The defender did touch the ball slightly, and Jesus was still going after it, and he continued to have both arms around him like a racing car seatbelt, and nothing. It went to VAR. They didn't give anything. Benjamin White was shoved in the back, and towards the end of the game, Kieran Tierney was karate chopped in the neck just before he's going to head the ball across the goal, and it's nothing. And I'm not one to bitch or moan about penalties or referees, but again, we could have won the game on our own, and we didn't. But you expect the referees to do a good job, and this is seriously, I said it before, it's the worst game since that Barcelona game with Van Persie being sent off. I swear it's at that level of just ignorance, pure ignorance. And I don't know. Apparently, this referee is one of the new ones I heard, and that has to worry you, honestly, because I've seen him before. I think officiate FA Cup games or a Carabao Cup game before. He's certainly is familiar. I didn't think he had a reputation for having poor games before this game, but there's no way we can see this guy officiate another game in the Premier League. It was so poor, and I have so many things here to say, but I'm just going to wrap it up there. I mean, it feels worse dropping points and getting just a draw, but in the grand scheme of things, we're still 2 points ahead of City. We're sitting in first place still. The game against Leeds where we just scraped away with that 1-0 victory, you saw Leicester, who were bottom of the table yesterday, go there and win 4-0. So it's difficult. It's difficult to process everything. Obviously, the draw now feels harsh because we've been so used to winning. I mean, we've won 13 out of 15, excuse me, with that one loss to Man United, and the Europa League games we've won them all. So it's going to sting a little bit more, and the reactions I've seen from people online are completely out of order. Total meltdown after one draw. I see people getting on the back of Odegaard, on the back of Jesus, and honestly, they might just, I don't know if these people are robots or what, but yeah, a lot of overdone reactions and, people trying to come up with explanations for themselves other than perhaps these players are tired. And again, we had chances we didn't take full advantage of. So it's probably a fair result in the end, I suppose. But it's just ruined by the referee's decisions over and over. And even there was a point in the game he played advantage for Saka, and he played it it had to be less than a second. He's surrounded by 3 players, and I don't know if this guy was nervous or what, but he didn't have control of the game whatsoever, and yet he thought he did, and he's out giving cards for a supposed dive on Saka, and just no control of the game whatsoever. Just looked like an amateur out there, and unfortunately the loss today is overshadowed by the referee's decision and the VAR officiating overall. So we'll take what we can. It's 1 point. We know how important points are at the end of the day, and so we'll take what we can get. Again, could have finished the game off early on, but I thought that guy should have been a penalty and a red card against Jesus. But who the hell am I? I suppose these guys know better than us, and these referees are going to continue to, be babied and sheltered by the FA, and it doesn't seem like there's anything anybody can do about this. And even if we've seen protests about club ownership and performances and things of that nature, but I've never seen protests for refereeing, and I don't know how you would go about it. There's only so much I can do living in the United States. I would assume that there would be repercussions for the club themselves if you had fans protesting referees, and I don't know what you would do, banners, something along that line. But surely something must change, because that was just horrible to watch. It really was horrible to watch. And I'm just going to end it there because I am ranting a bit. So I do appreciate it if you've watched the video this far. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you when I see you.